Hey guys, I've got something very important that I have to tell you. The Owl House is good. Hello and welcome back to Curmudgeon Media. My name's Tom and today I would really like to talk to you about The Owl House. I don't know about you guys, but I have really been digging this show. It completely blindsided me with its quality. I truly had no idea it was going to be as good as it is, nor did I think I would connect with it as much as I have. The last video I made was a lengthy and in-depth analysis, so I thought it would be fun to just make a video that's a little less analytical and just a nice relaxed look at a show I've been really enjoying. If you've not watched it yet, the story follows Luz, a socially outcasted girl whose proclivity for weirdness is matched only by her poor performance in school. She accidentally stumbles into another dimension filled with witchcraft and magic, befriends a crazy anarchist witch named Ida, and has a bunch of adventures. This video will be spoiler free, but I still highly recommend you go watch it. If you ask me, a large part of the show's appeal is in its fantastic cast of likeable, interesting characters. And honestly, writing compelling characters is so important to the scriptwriting process that often people are willing to ignore other issues in the story if they enjoy the characters enough. Talk to the Supernatural fandom for more on that. As for the Owl House, I think there's a lot we can learn by taking a look at how the characters are written and why it works so well. There are a lot of different ways you can write a character, and it really depends on the nature of the story. For example, a show like FX's Fargo, which is a seasonal anthology series with 40 to 50 minutes an episode, leans on lengthy monologues which key us into a character's thoughts and feelings and personal philosophy. It can afford to do this because it's one narrative per season told over like 9 hours. But a show like The Owl House, with only 20 minutes an episode and an almost entirely episodic narrative, comes with its own challenges. The writers have to make sure their characters are understandable, but without consuming too much plot time. So how does The Owl House do characters? The answer is what I like to call micro-characterization. Micro-characterization refers to how the show conveys its characters' personalities through tiny, minuscule moments between the plot. They're cleverly slipped in, often in the form of jokes, and communicate a character's behaviour in subtle ways.
This will make me rich.
Let me give you an example. The setup for the scene is this. Ida has been hired to babysit. She fell asleep, and when she wakes up, the mother has already collected her children and left. Let's see how the scene plays out.
Ah, sweet babies. Babies? Where are the babies?
Did you catch that? This is a great example of micro-characterization. The straightforward and frankly boring way of writing this would be to have Luz just say they left, or some variation on that formula. But instead, the writers have Luz do this adorable little hand puppetry act. It's funny and mostly just boils down to a cute, innocuous moment, but in a matter of seconds it communicates to us, without words, Luz's unique, off-the-wall personality and her neurodivergent tendencies. It's like the scriptwriters sat down and actually thought, how can we take this simple action and make it interesting? Let's take a look at another. The setup for this scene is that Luz needs Ida to teach her a spell last minute, and she hasn't got a lot of time. Here's how it happens.
Ida! You have to teach me a new spell right now!
Again, the easy option would be to have Luz walk into the room and just say, Ida, I need you to teach me another spell. But instead, she calls out Ida's name multiple times in panicked succession, does this frantic little twirly thing, and then falls over. I mean, moments like this are so small and seem so unimportant, but they're funny and effective ways of giving these characters personality. And stuff like this is everywhere in The Owl House. The show is full of these blink and you'll miss them moments where something as small as getting on a flying staff is instead delivered with so much panache and personality. A ton of attention has been put into these fine little behavioural details. The beauty of communicating character through behaviour is that it sort of gives the impression that these characters are just being themselves. Of course, characters can't literally be themselves because they aren't real sentient beings, but when you convey their personality through mannerisms and little behavioural tics, it gives the sense that they're just being who they are, because they're the kinds of mannerisms that people do without really thinking about them, pure little nuggets of human behaviour. It's not character writing in the sense of motivation and action, although there's plenty of that in the show too, but it allows them to sort of be themselves in their own space, to be idiosyncratic and silly and human. Now, these kinds of gestures and mannerisms are something which we generally take for granted with live-action movies and TV, because they're often just a part of how an actor behaves anyway, unless we're talking about a particularly good actor. But I think that's what makes it all the more special in the case of an animated series like The Owl House. They're so much more deliberate, each of these tiny moments written and animated with that character's unique idiosyncratic personality in mind. But I also think this kind of character writing sort of turns the concept of script economy on its head, and The Owl House exemplifies this beautifully. If you don't know what I mean by script economy, it simply refers to the idea that everything that happens in a story, including the characters' actions, must be in service of the main plot. I've never really subscribed by this idea myself. I think it's a rigid and mathematical way to view the art of storytelling. Again, the Owl House is almost entirely episodic in nature. Every episode follows a self-contained adventure with these characters. To that end, the plot, or the main sequence of events, really isn't the point. The plot often takes a back seat, merely a catalyst to put these characters in fun and interesting situations where we get to enjoy and learn about them. And that's where these moments of micro-characterization really begin to shine. You see, in an episodic cartoon that airs weekly, they make the most of the medium by giving the characters a lot of downtime. Usually, they do this by having an A-plot, the main plot of the episode if you will, and a B-plot, where non-focal characters can have their own little adventure that helps give the pacing a little break now and then. This means that there's a lot of breathing room between major plot stuffs for the characters to basically just do innocuous shit. I love this about the show, and it's where a lot of the best little character moments come from. Take a look at this clip from one of the recent episodes, after Ida and her sister Lilith have spent the B-plot experimenting with glyph magic and being taught by Luz.
Do I get extra credit?
Oh, my gosh.
I can do it too.
The brilliance of a moment like this is that it really has no reason to be there other than giving us some funny, entertaining insight into Ida and Lilith's characters. It doesn't contribute in any way to the plot by economic terms. It's just a fun, minuscule interaction to show us that Lilith is an overly attentive student and Ida doesn't give one solitary f***. But I think there's an angle to this that goes beyond simply showing us aspects of these characters' personalities. The fact that these moments of micro-characterization are so extraneous to the plot kind of brings them to life a little. It gives them a level of autonomy beyond the demands that a serialized plot might place upon them. They aren't just chess pieces being moved around to guide us from one plot element to the next. They're allowed to just behave and exist and do stupid shit and have these fun little moments for us to observe and enjoy. And it's a large part of why I enjoy this show so much and why these characters are continuously fun, lively, interesting, surprising, and so on. Okay, I had planned to end the video there, but like the latest episode as of making this video just came out and it has this one fucking great scene that I just had to include, right? So the scene is literally just Ida's morning routine and it has all these cute, amazing little bits like her screwing in her golden tooth and doing this big old grin at the mirror. It's like we're a fly on the wall getting a window into Ida's weird little world. And this scene is great because it perfectly encapsulates everything I've said in this video. 1, it codes Ida with unique behavioural tics that endear us to her and give her a third dimension, and 2, it gives her a feeling of autonomy from the plot because there is no reason for this scene to be here other than to endear us to the character. It doesn't contribute to the plot in any way, but it's just so fun to watch. I'm just saying, you know the character writing is strong if you can literally watch a character wake up in the morning and be 100% entertained. So yeah, watch The Owl House, it's good. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I wanted to make a video about The Owl House, but I wanted to keep it kind of light and ease back on the analytical stuff. If you enjoyed this video, drop us a like, it helps in the algorithm. And if you want to see more, why not give us a little subscribe? Also, my friend Covey and I have been doing weekly discussion streams on every episode of The Owl House Season 2, and y'all should come hang out. That's every Sunday over at OMG It's Covey on Twitch at 11 AM PST or 7 PM BST. I'll be back with more videos real soon, and I'm definitely not done talking about The Owl House, but until then, I'll see you in the next video.